In this video we'll discuss auto-sequencing and auto-saving of files. These features allow you to start a measurement, run overnight, and then look at the results the next day. So first off, to find the auto-sequencing, we see these icons here. And if you do not see them, a right click in the icon row will bring up this drop-down menu, and you can see here sequence is highlighted by the green box, and so it's already available, so we'll leave it there. Now with auto-sequencing, we can click on this configurator and it comes up with a measurement sequence control. The ramp phase measurement is the type of measurement it's taking, so it's a standard phase shifting system. The measurement interval is 10 seconds, so it takes a measurement, waits 10 seconds, takes another one. Right now it's set to 0 measurements, so let's move that up to make 4 measurements. We can either do that with these up-down arrows or just enter the number. And there's a start delay, so let's say you wanted to start it at the end of your workday, wait an hour and start a sequence. You could put how many seconds, 3600 seconds here. But for this case we're just going to put 5 seconds, so I'm going to enter in 5 for that. And finally, we could take an average measurement. In other words, going back to the discussion about measure single or measure average. If this is click green, it's in the same way as clicking this measure averaged. If it's unclicked, as I have it now, it's like clicking and taking data in the measure single. So let's leave this as our configuration at this point. So we can take data in this mode by clicking on the auto sequence here, so we'll just start and stop. So it's going to wait. As you see in the lower left, it's idle right now. Now it's measuring 1, and now to wait, and it'll measure again after a delay of 5 seconds. So it's making the next measurement, measuring the 3rd time, and measuring again. And during that sequence, the auto sequence icon here was green, indicating it was running. Now of course, just taking data is one thing, but it's also important to save that data. So we can set up autosave functions so that as it's taking data, it's saving it, which is very important, of course. So what we do there is look at these file management icons. And in each grouping, you'll see there's this configure measurement file generator, and that's allowing each measurement to store a data set to memory, each sequentially. And what's very powerful is we can set up the system to save different file formats as we require. So first off, I'm going to configure a .dat file format, the Metro file format. But you see there's no icon for that here. So we're going to first off bring those icons up. So we right click here in the icon row, and we slide down to Zygo Metro files. We left click on that, and it brings up this series of icons, which look very similar to the Apre RVL icons, except there's a Z in here to indicate there's Zygo. And we click on the measurement, the file configurator name, and it brings up the IO configuration. Now here there's 2 controls. One is where the files will go, so let's browse for that. And we're going to go to the desktop, test data, and save it here. So let's select that folder. So now that's selected. Next we're going to configure those files. And here we're allowed to name the file, so let's call it test. As you see, the generated text is shown below. We're going to start the index value at 0, and we're going to tell it to auto increment each time. And the time stamp is shown here. This is the style of it, but what we're going to do is use a variable timestamp, allowing it to change with the time. So we'll save that. And lastly, we want to say automatically saved new measurements. So every time we make a measurement, it will save. I'll click OK. Now let's do the same for the RVL format. That's shown here, and I have already pre-configured this. OK. And we'll say OK here too. Before continuing, I've changed the size of the reveal window to allow this test data file folder to be shown and show how it populates as it goes forward. Before I do that, though, I want to change the setup of the measurement interval. Just make it shorter so we don't spend much time. And the start delay, I'm going to make that 1 second. Number of measurements 3, so we can watch how the files are taken. So I'll say OK, and now we're going to start the sequence, and I'm going to open up this file, and now the sequence begins. And as you see, it's populating the test data as the data is taken, and it's being populated in both file formats, the .dat file format and the reveal file format. So this is a powerful tool. You can set the system up to run overnight, saving data as it goes, and take numerous data sets, and you could also average them as you're taking them, so you end up with how many averages you want to take saved, and then in the morning you can observe what the data set was.